Well, Leatherface for me was a refreshing. Well, first of all, New Line Cinema took over the franchise. I think, was that before they took over Jason with Jason Goes to Hell or after?
Yes, because they took over this, and I believe they bought Jason not too long after, because Jason was like early 90s, I believe.
For me, not having cared for part 2, they tried to make it right. A new family. First of all, Viggo Mortensen plays basically the hitchhiker-ish type of character. There's a little psycho girl. Leatherface is huge. He looks scary. He ain't fucking, the stooge that he was in part 2. He ain't fucking around. He's got that cool fucking truck. He's got that big ass saw, I love Leatherface. I saw it on the big screen, by the way. I love Leatherface because they brought it back to trying to be scary, trying to be suspenseful, trying to bring it back to the roots of the original, but with a more polished look, obviously, and money. Cinematography is beautiful. I love the heavy metal soundtrack. It was like a heavy metal partner.
Yeah, of course.
They really went. It's almost like if Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original film, was an elderly, mature man, and part 2 was some fucking goofball kid with issues. Part 3 is the rebellious 17-year-old Iron Maiden t-shirt wearing long hair teenager that just wants to flip the bird to everybody.
Yes.
So I love the 90s heavy metal, no fucking around vibe of the movie. Kate Hodge, I thought was fantastic. Ken Foree, who's a good friend of mine.
A classic guy.
Just incredibly, and I know I'm kicking myself right now. Why didn't I invite Ken to the show? Next time, Ken, I'm coming for you, bro. It's just really likable as Benny. That was his name, right? Benny? I hope so. Yeah, anyways, movie moves fast. Mortensen steals the show. He's just charismatic, menacing at the same time. But, it's one of those movies that had two things working against it. First of all, MPAA were in their full on the rag mode. The studio went test screening overload, recutting the movie, which resulted in the ending that we have now. For people who haven't seen the movie, well, block your ears, and shame on you. That was in the 90s. Benny dies, but he lives in the reshoot. They did reshoots. Everybody loved Benny, the Ken Foree character, but now he lives, which made no sense. He got a chainsaw to his fucking head or some shit. It made no fucking sense. So they reshot the whole thing. So they did a lot of recutting based on test screenings, which I don't always agree on. And of course, the MPAA removed all the gore. There's been some unrated versions that have come out. But personally, watching the deleted scenes kind of made me appreciate the movie that could have been more. There's a better cut of this movie somewhere if they take everything they cut out and the gore, but I'm sure the footage is gone. So for me, I think it's a valiant effort. It was Jeff Burr that directed it, who directed the much better sequel than it gets credit for, A Stepfather 2. I really enjoyed it. I'd say it's 6 on 10, but it's not its fault. And the MPAA and the test screenings really worked against it. It could easily be a 7. After part 2, it went up, and then part 4, but we'll get to that after. What do you think?
I like it. I actually did a little research thing on this movie for the WTF episode, and I grew up just in the VHS. And I'll be honest, I always kind of thought it was a bit boring as well. But doing the research, I didn't realize how much was cut, how much was changed. I will say this though, as I've gotten older, I really do love that early 90s. And again, I'm a very big fan of the 90s. It was the nostalgia purposes. I grew up, it was my childhood. So this exactly has that sort of like that punk rock sort of rock and roll thing to it that I love. I love
even
the color.
The look of Leatherface.
Yeah, he looks cool. He's this big
ready to rock.
This big guy. Hold on, let me look at his name. I don't know if he sounds Russian.
R.H.
Milohoff.
Hoff. Yeah, great guy, by the way. I met him in person a couple times, and really nice guy.
He's this big fucking guy, man.
Big dude, white beard. Yeah.
So I think it has a lot of high points. Ken Foree for sure. I'll always love that guy ever since Dawn of the Dead.
The man is charisma. So
yes, just charming.
I arm wrestled him, eh?
You win?
I lost like a bitch, man. Dude, I tried. I arm wrestled. And it's funny, I actually have footage of that, but I don't know if I would put that up. But I was at a party and I had a couple in me. So I'm like, come on, man, let's go. I want to take you on. He's a big dude. He's a huge dude. And man, I did nothing on him. I had nothing on him. And I couldn't swallow the defeat. So he'd freaking whoop me, and I'm like, again, boom. He'd whoop me again, boy. Everybody was filming. Not my proudest moment, but he's a big dude.
Yeah, I mean, he has reach. I mean, what are you gonna do?
It was fun. It was good times. Yeah.
So my view has always been, I think it's interesting. I like the 90s take for sure. Something about it that I think started from 2 and it goes all the way until 4, especially, is I like that there's an amazing actor that doesn't belong always in these movies. It started with Dennis Hopper. Viggo Mortensen steals the entire show. He's but it's funny him being just this like weird dude, you know, part of the family. I like the look the most. This is my favorite looking of all the Texas Chainsaws. It has that cinematic look. Like you said, it's decently budget. New Line had money, or at least they had more money than they did before. Maybe number 2 had these wild color schemes. I think this looks cooler.
It goes more for gritty. Well, not gritty,
but like 90s gritty, which is like you said, MTV.
It's a polished look, a lot of lights, you know, but it's dark and
his mask is cool.
Yeah.
There's the trailer where what's his name? Kane Hodder catches the
Excalibur. Excalibur trailer.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I respect it more than I like it. I think I probably like it a little less than you, but again, I agree. I've never seen the original version, and doing research on this movie for work aside, I didn't realize that Mr. Burr I had such a cool idea and that they were so accommodating, and then they just screwed him. Like the MPA just like redo this. Yeah, I know, it just sucks though, because it's
that's how it goes, man.
This poor guy signs a line and then gets nothing.
Whoever controls the money has the final say.
Yeah.
Follow this.
Welcome to the end screen. Because we have our most popular videos up here, our latest videos over here, our modern reviews up here, and of course, the subscribe button right here, guys. Every little bit counts, and we do appreciate the support.